Hi, this is Kim Watson. Welcome to Friday's live trading. At the moment, I'm looking at a lot of these markets, and okay, you're looking at a 5-minute chart at the moment, but a lot of these markets are doing a similar thing. They've had a bit of a surge. It's 8:15 as I look at these, and they've had a bit of a surge. They're showing signs on some of my indicators that are a little bit overbought. So if this is going to be a break, it's whether this is going to be a breakout or whether it's just going to stall at around these prior highs is the question. I don't want to be getting in long where it sits at the moment, and I may miss the boat if it does go off straight from here. But I've got it on the lower time frames here. I've got the 8 o'clock pivot sitting below, and also I'm just thinking, well, if it's a bit overbought, I just would prefer to see it retrace back to its 30-minute 20. So just let it work off that sort of that movement, and from there then I'll look and see if it finds support off somewhere around that 30-20. It gives me an opportunity to look for buying at that stage and see if we can trade it back up. But so it's a 30-minute 21 is actually sitting there at 20.89 at the moment. So quite a retrace needed for me to be really wanting to buy into this at the moment. I mean, with time, if it slows up at this, obviously its moving average would come up behind there and do something. But you can see how choppy this market's been. It's very rangy. My concern is I could trade it down back. It's not that many pips when you start looking at things. It's 2090, and we're looking at 18 pips from where price is at the moment. So very little movement, and it's been like that for a couple of days beyond that news. So I do wonder if we've got more of the same today. We'll see. Anyway, going to pause this for now and see if anything materializes. Okay, just taking a short on the Aussie yen here. It's been running down. It's just triggered my target here. So my trigger here. So I'm just about to take a short. He says on it. Let's just come down one time frame and look at what's going on down there as well. Oh, it's just pulling back for a moment. It might give me the underside a bit of a better price. So we're just watching this for a moment. So I'll come back, wait for a moment. Aussie yen has generally been pushing up quite well. I might not even get into this in a minute, but just looking at this sort of shorter time range, it's sort of lower highs, lower lows. Aussie's been having a bit of a hard time. I might not be in it yet. Might be pausing this and not taking the trade quite yet. It's broken where I was looking to trigger. I almost just put a sell stop on it, but it's caught a bit of a bid at the moment. So I should hold fire for a moment. So it's running to its prior lows here on this Aussie yen, and it looks like it was sort of gonna carry on rolling, but it's bounced, and that we've got the bounce from those prior lows. So just being patient, and there we go. There's prior lows over here. There's a few others. Let's just pull out a little bit. You see some lows around this sort of territory. Doesn't want to go at the moment. I can be patient and wait. I was nearly in there a bit quicker, but looks like I'll carry on waiting at this stage. Press the button once I've taken a trade at this rate. So it looks like I'm going to cancel this trade for now. It's the idea was there, but this sort of bear flag, I'm sort of looking at whether it was going to just roll in and return it. I say cancel it for now. Also, I just looked at the Aussie, because obviously, I say obviously, but the Aussies suddenly says, I was looking at this as a potential short as well. It's sort of lower highs, lower lows. It's been pitching down there quite nicely. It's got sort of a bit of a flaggy pattern kicking on. That might have triggered off as well, but it's found a bit of support from there. I mean, it's like a double whammy rather, in terms of it just sort of being bought there. Now the Aussie yen, then, if you can get the Aussie yen come back up, would be good. So the Aussie yen is this sort of same downward trend here, looking for the sort of break of 60-minute, but just finding support. Bit slow in pressing the button, and it looks like it might be paying off, but we'll keep an eye on it for a moment. But that's it for now. Just put you on pause, just carry on here. So I'm looking at I'm just about to enter a swing short on the Canadian dollar. I've been in this before, and it just probably a little bit aggressive with the trailing stop. It just and a bit of a broker spreads widening a little late at night. Anyway, it's I'm just looking to get back into this. It's a much longer term position here. It's sitting on the shorter time frame, just shy of its 50 MA here. That could create it to bounce. I could wait for it to bounce, move through that. I could wait for everything else, and eventually it'll be so far gone it won't be a trade for me anymore. So I just want to be in it. I'm quite happy with taking the risk there. 77 pips on the stop side there, so just placing that, and that's done. Now target wise, I've got some sort of half decent targets in mind. Really coming back on this to look at the monthly target here, so it's much more of a longer swing there, looking towards that monthly 200. So that would do me for now. I'm in that position. Yeah, you see what's happening on the dailies. Dailies has been running off. It's done this little old dance and everything else here. I was looking and put the signal a little bit lower to get in, but I'm quite happy with getting in where I am. So that's, as I say, it's a swing position. See if we can run this down further. Yeah, I'll let it run for as long as it takes. First exits, if I'm looking at exits here, we could take a tad out on its monthly S2. That was originally my second target point. The first target point from the trade a week or so ago was down into its monthly S1. Maybe look at the S2 as a part to exit, but I really do like the 1682 area down there in that sort of area, so 1685-ish. We'll see what it does there. Just looking at what we've got above there, the S3s are sort of may not ignore something like the S3 if it comes down there, but by that stage I'll be trailing at a break-even position, so we'll leave it for now anyway. So there we go. It's just to confirm the position, what I've done there. So I'm still in a long on the US dollar yen, which I called in, I think, in the room, and maybe in the else. I've mentioned it so many times. That's sitting there on this account. So it's just a short position on US dollar CAD. It's only a small position because it's only a $5 count. So on here, so I'm just using this as the update monitor, so you can see what's happening. Shorted there at 121.35. Quite happy with that. And well, targets, I'm not putting any targets in either of these at the moment. The short target here, as I said, well, I could put a target in there. We'll see how it goes, but I could be putting the target in at 1685 or something in that region. But for now, I'll just let it run. If it was to start really moving quickly next week, I would be even more tempted to let it run more, but we'll see. The yen, I'm really looking at just trading this. This is a position that's been open for a while. Just looking at trading it back up to these prior highs. Initially, we'll look to take some profit out at that point if it gets there. It's choked a little bit here. It's had a good move a couple of days ago, but it is a bit choky with this very soft dovish tone that the Feds are taking at the moment, but we could see that turn around anyway. Right, I'll leave those running. I'm just going to put them on our system. So it's several hours since I was looking at the potential on the Aussie yen here, and I just 1, 2, 3 hours actually. On its third hour, it's halfway through it, 2.5 hours or so. But it was worth waiting and looking to see what was going. It's just really just not. I mean, it ran down there. It looked at it for again. It was likely to do it at about 10:35, but it's proved me wrong this morning, which is good because I didn't manage to get into the trade, so I'm not sitting in the trade. Patience has paid off. It did look good. There was, from a 60-minute point of view, we've got this sort of the break of this big move that had been running down. The Aussie dollar itself was against the US dollar, similar sort of picture, but that bit of bullishness that sort of had driven through last couple of hours there. And the yens have been a bit stubborn on the opposite direction against the dollar there, and just holding its own has left me with no trade there. But of course I've got into the swing in the meantime. This was what I was looking at here, was possibly more of a short-term swing. The Canadian dollar, I see that as more of a big-term swing. See if we can hold it further. But of course it's now 12:37. We've got news in just under an hour, so 53 minutes. So I should wait patiently, see what that delivers us. Well, we just looking at the markets here this afternoon, waited for the retail sales, US retail sales come out, which have just come out, and being a bit disappointed, coming in at 0 versus the 1%. So a bit more disappointment to hit the markets. Market's very slow to take up any movements here. It really is the dullest of times that we've seen, but it might create something from here and a further push. The Fed will love it because it's keeping the heat off them in terms of interest rate increases, but anyway, I'll see what if anything materializes here worth trading. So just wrapping up, really, it's 3:45, so I'm wrapping up this video. I'll come back to the Canadian dollar trade which we're in at the moment, but for now, just quick summary run through of these markets for the week ahead. I know the day hasn't finished yet, but just looking at the price action, euro dollar looking quite solid here at this stage. Got a potential nice pattern there for a continuation. Potentially up to the R1 prior highs, maybe more. We are seeing a bit of dollar weakness across the board. It's been the weakest currency for most of the day. The pound struggled a little bit earlier on. It's starting to do a little bit more now and sort of swinging around a little bit there. Again, potential for continuation back to the highs from earlier in the week and maybe more. It's on a monthly basis, it's running into R2 territory. This can in itself just stall things a little bit more. It seems a bit lackluster. Boris Johnson's due to talk later on, maybe a bit more lockdown going on or extending lockdowns. It could have an adverse effect there for the pound running into next week, but we'll see. Dollar yen slowed up on the dollar yen a little bit on the downside there. It's bounced back off its monthly pivot again. Well, it looks like it's got potential. I'm liking this because I'm long on the yen on a swing position, so we'll see. It's shaping up okay there for the long side still. Aussie dollar, a bit of a turnaround today. Same sort of. I mean, today it's run into its back towards that monthly. I say today. Yesterday it ran back into that monthly pivot. Today it's catching a little bit of momentum. It has struggled though, and could well continue to struggle a little bit as the central bank still plays the game of trying to keep the strength of the Aussie down. Canadian dollar, so this is the currency I'm sitting in, trading from earlier on, just about from where that red line is roughly on the line on it. So we're up a few points at the moment. Let's actually just have a look at where we are sitting with that. Well, it's not sitting up that well now as to where it was. It's sitting up, I don't know, about 30 odd pips. We got in at 34 points, somewhere in that region, 34 pips. But it's a swing position. We'll leave that to swing. Swister, as I said, looking really on the bigger scale of things. If it closes down a bit lower today, it'll be nicer, of course, and really looking for that to in the longer term push down to that monthly. Now on days like this, I'd like to have lots of day trades, but it's just been quite sticky. I sort of come down to the lower. Okay, the Canadian dollar may be a little bit different, but looking at some of these pairs, and I've sort of come down to time frames here. It's just been. It looks okay here now. Now it's done what it's done. It's the late trader, but it's just been sort of. It picked up a bit this morning at 8 and rolled a little, but. It's been a little bit okay. Maybe here it gave a bit of a signal, a higher low coming through, and it's given it a little bit more. But with the news coming out, personally, I didn't fancy standing in front of it today. As it happened, it was news that, well, it's sort of washed off quite quickly. But the overall reaction has been more negative for the US dollar. Anyway, that's where we sit. I will wish you. Oh, actually, have a quick look at the S&Ps. S&Ps obviously. I say obviously, but on the data it's come back to dailies there, and looking like, well, the potential for further upside there at this stage. So I wish you a great weekend, and I'll catch you next week in the mornings for the outlook. Bye for now.